Have you lost your job? Have you been made redundant? Have one of your businesses been forced to close? Well, this video is for you. So, what's my story? In short, I had a full-time job and I had a business, and now I don't. I think that a lot of people believe that they're the only ones going through this sort of journey and these sort of obstacles, but I know firsthand exactly what it's like, and you have to sort of decide whether you're going to stay down or whether you're going to get back up. And my thoughts on that is that we need to make sure that we move forward now, whether that's in starting to interview or starting to try and find a new job, or whether we're going to use some out of the box thinking and start thinking more along the lines of, what did I used to do and can I do it for myself? So my corporate job was operational processes. So when a business has a massive, it doesn't have to be big businesses, to be fair, it can be smaller businesses. They all operate on processes, and these processes can be big or they can be small. Even something like brushing your teeth, there's a process. You grab the toothbrush, you turn the water on, toothpaste, you get the idea. That was my role. My role was to streamline all of those processes and make sure that all of the waste was removed. So it got me thinking. That was kind of my professional background. In regards to the gym, I am a coach as well, but some of the things that I did there was to do with the clothing and to do with the merchandise that we sold in the gym. And then there was extension of that to other things that we did. And it kind of got me thinking. It got me thinking, can I start a business? A completely new business, new venture, something I'd never done before. Although I had the experience, the actual business side of things and sales and marketing and things like that in that area or in that niche wasn't actually something I'd done before. So it started to get me thinking, out of the box thinking, I guess, can I start something from scratch and make it a success? So after I'd thought and thought some more, I decided to answer these questions. First one being the what. So what can I do? So using previous experience, knowing about operations, knowing I'd done some clothing printing previously, the what was going to be, I'm going to launch a business that does custom clothing or printing and apparel, competition t-shirts, birthday t-shirts, events t-shirts and workwear. So that was the what, and kind of that took me down this path where I started to then answer a few more questions. So the next question I had to ask was the how. I guess, how can you do it? How can it be successful when you think about who your clientele is? So when I think about how, I need equipment, I need a customer base, and I need the know-how. So the knowledge was there. I enjoy designing it and I enjoyed printing the t-shirts. It was on the side, so it wasn't a full-time thing for me at the time. I had all these other things going on, but my thought was, how can I make it work? I'd need to make it my full-time occupation. It would be my business. I would need to give everything 100% into that, and that's what I plan to do. When you think about where I can do it, I'm quite fortunate with some space downstairs, so I'm able to set up a kind of a printing area where I need to buy the equipment. So that's kind of my thoughts behind the how. So then the next question is when. I feel like a bit of a game show host, but when? So as soon as possible, I guess. I mean, I have got zero income at the moment. Again, it was forced. It wasn't something I choose to do, and I'm not this crazy person that decided to, well, I'm going to quit all my jobs to start a printing business. It wasn't that. It was just an unfortunate chain of events that occurred that led me to this point. And I'm not saying that I couldn't do some business consultancy as well, because I still have the professionalist, but I think for this to work, I think I really need to put myself into it 100%. So for me, the when is going to be as soon as possible. I'm waiting for quite big machinery to turn up, but once that turns up, I think then it's full steam ahead, and I'm going to keep you involved with the journey that I go through, because the reason for making this video for me really is reflection when I look back, but also there is so many people dealing with this same thing. when you go to apply for a job on LinkedIn or wherever it may be, there's 100 people going for that job. So this video is really aimed at somebody that is in a similar boat and thinks, oh no, I haven't got a job, I need to find some form of employment, and out of the box thinking maybe there's a business there with your expertise that you can do. So let's move on to the last question, and that last question is why? So a few things that I've learned, a few things that I've picked up along the way is that I'm quite a driven person. So for me to work for myself is quite something that appeals to me. Although, you know, the safety of a paycheck every month is something I was so used to. But I think that the other thing that excites me is I've always gone into business, different businesses that I've had, and I've always gone in with a partner. This one is on my own. In some previous recordings, I kept saying we, and actually it's now I. And I'm looking forward to the fact that this business is like an individual sport. It's like a singles match in tennis. If you hit a bad shot, that's your fault. It's on you. Whereas in your football team, you've got 11 other players. You know, you can kind of, you know, maybe get away with having, you know, not your best game, and you'll still win the football match. But I think that kind of using that analogy is that there's no one to look at. If I want to design a website, which I'm doing at the moment, I want it, or I would like it to be how I want it to be, not having to ask somebody else. And that part of that is the why. Why do I want to do that? Is an element of working for myself and working for something that I can build from the bottom and build up. And I think that aside from the money, and obviously everyone's got bills to pay, but this kind of the satisfaction that you would get if I was, and when I do make this a success, I think is going to be very, very rewarding. So that's another reason for me, for the why. So guys, I think that is all I really wanted to say on this video, and kind of help anyone that is on that journey or having these obstacles. And I think that these things do happen, and it's just how we overcome them. And sometimes, you know, thinking out of the box and thinking maybe can you, how can we get away from maybe having that employment? And we're so used to having the idea of having a 9-to-5 job, and maybe the world's changed a little bit. But I hope you liked the video. I will catch you on the next one, where we will start looking at the equipment turning up, and then looking at my business model and how it's going to be, who my clientele is, and things like that. So thanks a lot, guys. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments, or DM me on Instagram. The company name we will get into in the next video as well. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next video.